Hi angels, I'm Alethea and today I want to talk about positivity. This one is going to be pretty off the cuff. I've been thinking about it for a while. I'm in a place where I'm not feeling the most positive, and I feel like that's going to be the most productive way to go about this. It seems a little counterintuitive, but I think it's going to work out for us, so let's see. I have been thinking a lot about toxic positivity and something I've started to call weaponized positivity, and what it means to try and develop ourselves so that we are happier, more fulfilled, more content humans. Trying to even think of the words even feels inadequate to me, because what I want is for us all to be living our best lives, myself included. I have taken recently to jokingly saying live your best life as a means of encouraging someone to eat that piece of cake or make the decision the way that they're waffling about, and maybe know that they need to choose something that's harder. I'll just say live your best life, and whatever comes of that, I'm sure they'll be happy. I don't want everyone to feel positive all the time, because that negates such a huge amount of human experience, and so much of what feeling we have is not always going to be happiness. But when I say happiness, a lot of what I mean is that I want us to feel fulfilled. So maybe I'll change that I don't want everyone to be happy, I want everybody to be fulfilled. It doesn't have the same ring to it. It doesn't feel the same way. Toxic positivity is something I find to be personally condescending and disingenuous, although I know that very often that's not where it's coming from. Toxic positivity is when faced with an emotion that is not considered positive, the encouragement is to change that emotion into something better, into something more positive, high vibes only. I think that toxic positivity is definitely something that can be very damaging to mental health, because it suppresses and invalidates so many perfectly reasonable emotions and feelings and ways of experiencing what's happening around us and what's happening within us. Toxic positivity can be found all over in motivational phrases. Instagram is a fantastic place to find loads of toxic positivity just being thrown about as though they're tokens for admiration and hell yeah, and it very much frustrates me, because things that can be taken motivationally for someone who's already happy is very different in the perception of somebody who is not happy, and can have the opposite effect. And that's what makes it toxic, is that if you're not already happy, motivational little blurbs can be really damaging. It shifts the story away from this being a natural and lovable experience to this is something that needs to be fixed. I am very guilty of this. I personally see most problems as something that needs to be fixed. I see most issues as problems, and this is something I direct at myself, that I feel like I need to fix myself. I need to work on my problems. I need to keep pushing through until I find a solution, and that is just part of who I am. But I've been making an effort to stop myself from pointing out the silver lining in everything. That is something I do quite a bit. But trying to point out the silver lining is an invalidating technique for pointing out that one shouldn't feel the way that they feel. So that's what toxic positivity is. And I've been thinking a lot about what I've started calling weaponized positivity. And this is when the positivity is being directed to sell something to you. Whether it is a book, a network marketing program, I think is the most egregiously guilty party in my mind. If it's a seminar, if it's a piece of clothing, whatever is being sold at the expense of your well-being or my well-being. And it's being done in a way that comes across as genuine and authentic and just wants you to be happy and just wants to be happy with you, but it ends up making us feel guilty. Guilty that we don't feel that way, and that maybe if we have this object, we will feel that way. And I feel like that is worse than toxic. That is most harmful, and it is most harmful with a purpose. It is manipulative, and it is something that I am realizing more and more as I have been taking this self-help journey and trying to analyze more about the self-help world around me, that it is really very dangerous. Something that I consider to be a good hallmark, so like a positive way of looking at something that's being presented to help one, is that if it encourages acceptance over reprogramming, if it encourages love and compassion instead of shame, it allows for those normal feelings of suffering, which everybody has, with as much of an honored space as those of joy. So when I say happiness, I think along with fulfillment, I'm also talking about safety, that if someone is happy, they are in a place where it is safe for them to feel the fullest range of emotions. And that is a little bit my PTSD talking, because safety is a huge concern of mine. But if we feel safe to feel, then I think that is happiness. Whether or not that is included with joy is up to the person feeling the feelings. But I think that I can be both grieving and happy at the same time. And that happens when I am safe to feel that grief and know that I will be comforted or can be comforted, that I can accept that grief in a way that doesn't harm myself or harm others. What I mean by harming myself, I took the day off work today. Well, I took the afternoon off work today. I can't take the full day off, but I took the time off that I could and gave myself permission to have these feelings today. I am grieving. It's Father's Day, and I don't know how to navigate Father's Day yet, since my dad died earlier this year. This is the first Father's Day I've faced, and I'm grieving. But I think I'm happy because I am able to take the time for myself to honor him and to remember him and feel that sadness without there being a pressure to transform it into something else. I think that sadness will be with me forever, but it will always come with a knowledge that that's okay. Ultimately, I think that's the goal for mental health, is being okay with the emotions that we have and being able to find the happiness that I talk about, not necessarily joy, but the awareness of who we are, what we feel, and that it is safe to be and feel those things. I want to encourage everyone to build communities where that safety is there, and to be part of friend groups that encourage that safety, and to just be a person who is safe to come to, so that when we ourselves are faced with those feelings, we know we're surrounded by those who make it safe for us as well. It's very intense for me how important building that kind of community is. And I feel like that's something that we don't necessarily have a lot of. That is my goal. I don't want everyone to be happy all the time. I don't want everyone to be joyful all the time. I don't want everyone to be positive all the time. I want everyone to feel safe and accepted and allowed to be authentic. And authenticity is not just the presentation on social media that doesn't feel faked. Authenticity is who we are to ourselves and to those around us without having to hide or suppress what we're feeling and what we're thinking in order to be accepted. This has been my ramble. This is what I'm thinking about on Father's Day. And this is my wish for everybody. Thank you. I hope you are the best you that you can be right now.